Yeah, had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. Truth bombs that many never knew. We talking politics, everything up to the moon. Was the landing real or fake? I guess you'll never know. Let's talk, this is the Nate and Garrett Show, yeah. So lend me your ear, let's get it poppin'. You know that we keep it live, non-stoppin'. Educating, entertain, there ain't no doubt. After you listen, you'll be thinking way outside the box. From media dishonesty, never let them play you. Keep it authentic nowadays, many can't do. Unfiltered is how we do it. Make sure you stay locked in and tuned in, let's go. Had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. The Nate and Garrett Show.
And now, welcome to the Nate and Garrett Show. Prepare yourself to be transported to the furthest reaches of reality. As the hosts unravel the mysteries of the universe, the depths of the deep state, the truth hidden in plain sight, all while bringing you the news from this week. Please welcome your hosts, Nate and Garrett.
Hey. Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Good call. How's it going, man?
Good. How about you?
Good.
How is everybody? Well, we're going to go back and scrub some of our old shows to find out. I know we made predictions about how long after the election it was going to be before the U.S., before Biden, I don't even want to say the U.S., before Biden attacks and bombs some brown people. I know we have it in our past shows.
Yeah, we definitely
What did we
talked
say?
about it.
Do you remember?
I think I said within the first year or something, and you said within the first month.
I thought
you called it early, and you were right, dude.
Yeah, I was being a bit facetious, I think. But what are we now? How many months since inauguration? Are we less than 2, probably, right?
It's February 25th, so it's just over 1 month, right?
So people don't know. I think this is kind of breaking, but the U.S. Bombed Syria today.
Yeah, just now, right? Like an
yeah.
hour ago. So let's show. I've got the.
Do you even know why Syria? Is it seriously because they're? It seems like Syria was on Obama's target for some reason. Do you remember he was trying to go to war with them?
Yeah.
And the outcry was so much that he basically backed off. But,
right.
I mean, it seems like Syria's been on their list for a long time. What the hell is with Syria?
Well,
It can't be a human rights thing. If it's a human rights thing, we have to go to China.
Yeah, no kidding.
And North Korea. I mean, we have 2 countries that have literal concentration camps, and they're killing and raping and maiming people. And for some reason, because people buy cheap shit from China, nothing's done.
They're untouchable, yeah.
So they're not being as shitty their people as China is. So if it's a human rights issue, we need to go to China. They're not a threat to us. Syria is not a threat to the U.S., so it can't be that.
Right. It's definitely not self-defense. I mean, so I've got a few theories. One is they've got a bunch of oil that we want, or they've got a bunch of opium. We want to go steal that.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it feels like oil's in. There's a bit of excess of oil right now. I could be completely wrong on this. Maybe I'm naive. You remember when the price of oil fell so much, it went to like negative $100 a barrel or something.
Yeah, we talked about that on one of the shows.
Yeah,
where
that's a weird idea.
The ships were docked at port and they couldn't get rid of the oil. They started paying people to take oil. That was like 2 years ago. That was
that wasn't that long ago.
That was so weird, where oil was negative money for a
and we
for
are
a barrel.
seeing we're just seeing that there's more efficient uses of more efficient engines coming out. People starting to buy electric vehicles. I have a hard time believing right now oil's that big of a commodity. I think it has to be something else. I think there's something there, obviously.
So here's my third theory, which this one has been a pretty good one for other countries we've gone to war with. Are they trying to get off the dollar standard?
That's my only thought. Because they are, right? Or they were?
I don't know. If they aren't on the dollar standard, then that's why. If they're trying to get off the dollar standard, then that's also why. So I'm going to say, is Syria off the dollar? All values are in U.S. dollars in Syria. So is Syria...
There we go. That's a better way to put that. God, we'll have to look into that more.
Yeah, we'll have to find out.
There's no excuse for the president to be bombing Syria right now. It's insane. And it sucks. They couldn't even wait 2-3 months. It was right after. I think that's why there was such a coordination to get Trump out of the presidency. I think the powers that be really wanted to go to war.
I think the deep state military industrial complex, I think that the wars are the best evidence for it. Yep. And the fact that they had to get rid of Trump because he wasn't doing the never ending, he was ending the unending wars.
He was actually trying to pull troops out of, where was it? Was it
Afghanistan?
It was Afghanistan or Syria somewhere.
Too. Yeah.
And they lied to him and basically said, oh, yeah, we did already. And they did it. They were lying to him with the troops.
I remember that. So. Yeah, they lied to him about how many troops we had there.
But, right after the inauguration, we even said on the show, like, oh, God, they're moving troops towards Syria. Here we go. Yeah. But we were conspiracy theorists for saying that there's going to be a bombing soon.
Well, sure, of course. Yeah. And now look.
Yeah. I was debating in real life with a liberal I know, kind of saying like, oh, God, here comes the bombing the wars. And they, oh, yeah, right. Yeah, just because, right? You tell me why. Yeah. But here it is.
Call that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, Send him a text. See what he says.
Yep.
I'm sure he'll say, oh, terrorists.
Yeah, well, we have to. And this isn't about Biden. Biden didn't do this.
I think
you're right. Biden's asleep in his basement right now.
Yeah, you're right. Biden didn't do it. Biden signed for this before he became president. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, they just got a stamp with his name on it right now.
Right.
But still fuck him for allowing this to happen.
Oh, yeah, it's not a good leader.
Yeah.
Trump, that's the thing I liked most about Trump was ending the unending wars. I think they're terrible.
Yeah. Him being the first president to not start a new conflict since, our lifetimes?
Yeah.
And two, his response to COVID. And I know,
that's what I like.
Liberals that don't understand virology, they try to use that against him. Like, oh, this happened under your watch. In every other fucking country in the world, you idiot. But yes, he didn't overreact. And I think he kind of was able to keep Fauci at bay a bit, where we're already seeing that not going away. We have infections and deaths plummeting. And they're starting to admit that if you're under 40, I think the fatality rate of this is even lower than the flu.
Yeah.
So when Trump said
under 50,
it's like the flu, he was wrong. This might be less deadly than the flu.
That's right.
Under 50. Yeah.
That's right. That's such an important point, and we know that now, and we should make that point. We should take these masks off and open the economy.
They'll show the one bodybuilder that gets COVID and almost dies, and they'll be like, see, it's not like the flu. Have you had the flu before, Mr. Healthy Bodybuilder? Oh, yeah? Did you almost die from the flu? No, see, it's not the same. And you're like, God damn it, that's not how this works.
Right.
But, this is what elections have consequences, and it's not a coincidence that the U.S. is back bombing people again already.
I will go through our old shows and find where we talked about this, because we did. We said, how long till we're in war with, I think we specifically said Syria. We named a couple of countries in the Middle East.
Syria, for whatever reason. Obama had a hard on for that, and just kind of a couple times he did. Like, he was starting to do some military stuff, and then he wanted to do a all-out war, and the outcry from the citizens was high enough where they kind of backed off.
Well, I think I made the point when we talked about it before that with Biden coming into the presidency, I wouldn't want to join the military, and I wouldn't want to be in the military. You're gonna be in the Middle East doing some kind of weird war for God knows what reason.
I'm having a big brain fart right here. I'm even embarrassed to laugh. But where was Gaddafi from?
Gaddafi was from Lebanon.
We gotta Google this. This is gonna be our Aleppo moment.
Dude, I don't know where these places are. I'm not even embarrassed to say it, you know? Where was Gaddafi from? Libya.
Okay, yeah.
There you go.
Because it's almost like Libya was on their site first, and then they got him, and then it turned into what next?
Right. And that was the point I was making about the gold standard. He was getting them off the gold standard.
Mm-hmm.
Or I mean the dollar.
That's kind of what brought me to that.
And he was kind of uniting some countries in Africa to do that.
This. They're not doing this to protect the U.S. citizens. Syria is not going to hurt us. There's way worse countries for human rights violations. So I'm sure they're going to try to say it's over human rights violations, but it's obviously not. I just don't get it, and it's disgusting. It really is.
But, I want to make a point about, so I couldn't remember the country Gaddafi was from, Libya. Mm-hmm. And you said, is this like an Aleppo moment? And
well, that 99.9999% of people don't know what they were.
I didn't know Aleppo was the capital.
Did you see the question too?
Yeah, they just said, like, what do you think of Aleppo? Who were they asking him? Who are they asking?
It was our friend, the libertarian candidate.
Yeah, that's right. Gary
Johnson.
Gary Johnson, that's right. Yeah, so a reporter asked Gary Johnson.
They use that to fucking crucify him.
Oh, I know. They did that really effectively, if you ask me.
If you could find that video really quick, we should maybe show it.
Yeah.
Because it just shows how shitty our media is. I mean, they said it like super fast, and it was kind of out of context. Like, what do you think about Aleppo? There it is.
Yeah. So this is great.
Johnson, former governor
of course it's Cuomo, dude.
New Mexico, was on TV this morning, and he was asked about Aleppo.
They're just talking about it. Okay.
Here's what happened.
What would you do if you were elected about Aleppo?
About
Aleppo.
And what is Aleppo?
You're kidding.
No.
Aleppo is in Syria. It's the epicenter of the refugee crisis.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Well, with regard to Syria...
Dude, I think Gary Johnson handled that well.
Yeah.
Honestly asked, what is it? And
there's a reason they didn't ask him about Syria. Like, if they could add this, they could ask Biden about this right now, and he's not getting this question.
Of course not. But that's the point I want to make. I didn't know where Aleppo was. And you could ask me what's the capital of some country down there? I'm not going to know. You know what I mean? And I think
I'm impressed you knew Gaddafi's first name.
Yeah, and I knew he was I knew some things about him. And Lebanon, that's Leb. That's close to Libya. So my brain was almost there.
You're right.
But the point is that this was like a hit piece against
Big
him.
time.
And it was really effective. And it's a great way to be like, wow, you don't know where,
And nobody knew what that was, but that was like mainstream media at that. I mean, that was everywhere. That was fucking on like front page of newspapers.
Oh yeah,
libertarian candidate.
Oh yeah, and it worked great. Just like the Emperor's New Clothes story, where everyone wanted to pretend like he didn't know where Aleppo was. Oh my gosh, we can't elect him. So why not?
Yes. This is CNN. Like, we should bring up where CNN did the town hall with Biden, was that a week ago, and Anderson Cooper had to help him through the answers. They're obviously not giving him the same treatment they're giving the sitting president of the United States.
Yeah.
He was basically trying to say that I think that we don't know if the vaccine's going to help stop transmission, so you have to keep mass social distance. And he just mumbled off, forgot what he's talking about. And so Anderson Cooper answered the question for him.
Oh yeah.
Instead of just saying,
he's not going to know basic.
Vaccine, social distancing.
Right.
What?
Exactly.
Social distancing. You don't know social distancing? Why don't they treat him the same? This is supposed to be the fucking president.
Yep.
And everyone keeps asking and acting like this is just to put Kamala in power. They don't need to. Why the fuck would they need to? They've got a nobody puppet in power that's asleep right now when the U.S. is bombing people for the first fucking time in 4 years.
Right.
They
he's
love Biden.
perfect.
They'll sit down that old codger and have him sign whatever the fuck they want, and he'll even say, "What am I signing?" Yeah, they probably withheld his Lorna Dunes that night for asking that on TV. They probably punished him for that.
Probably. And I think you're totally right. He's the perfect puppet. But I think they will transition Kamala in once they've used him up and his. So they're going to have him do some really dumb shit that's horrible and indefensible. And then they'll go,
okay.
oh, Sleepy Biden, boy, he's lost it. Now let's
Right
move in
before-
Kamala, who's also a puppet, but she's
So then
not demented.
Because there's no way Biden's winning this next election.
I hope you're
There's
right.
no way. There's no way. I really think that's what the whole January 6th thing was all about, trying to give him a little bit of a leg up, gives the media an excuse to be even more biased because they're doing it now for their safety. And look what happens if we give a mouthpiece to these people. It turns into violence. Meanwhile, Black Lives Matter and Antifa is tearing apart the country, raping and killing people and doing what? How many billions of dollars of damage?
Yeah, a
Some
lot.
fucking LARPer stormed into to the Capitol building and did nothing when the police just fucking let him go by, and they're acting like this is 9/11 all over again. It was disgusting.
And then a cop or a security guy shot and killed a lady.
And then a different one died earlier of a stroke, and New York Times ran that his head got bludgeoned with a fire extinguisher, and that was fact for a long time. Every news station said that.
Yeah, I know.
They
That's a
included him
big
as, like, the
story.
death.
That they said that a police officer was beaten to death by an angry mob with a fire extinguisher because they had to try to paint this as a violent insurrection when it wasn't one.
They still haven't completely walked themselves back from that either. Just saying there's some evidence that suggests that might not have happened. Holy shit. How about you get the evidence that happened first?
Yeah. They completely made that up. Look at that. And
terrible.
that's the New York Times, dude. Yes. People trust these news organizations, and they shouldn't.
The New York Post gets Biden's hard drive and finds him sleeping with kids and naked with children, and they put a fucking media blackout on that. You couldn't even talk about it.
Yeah, I know. I believe that, but it still might not be true, right?
No,
literally that Hunter Biden was with children.
Yeah, no, they know it's true. That's his hard drive. Right? Yep, that's his hard drive. That the FBI admits they have it, and now that the election's over, they're actually starting to admit that that they're looking into this shit now. Like, he's under investigation, and I know it's more like an IRS type of thing.
Yeah.
But a lot of stuff in the media said that didn't happen really happened.
Right.
Yep.
I guess at this point, I'm just saying maybe it's not 100% true that he's.
I'm pretty sure it's 100% true.
You might be right, man. I mean, I would believe it, and I definitely lean towards believing it.
But and then you have the dossier on Trump that turned out to be completely fake, and they kept using the sources of each other. Well, this news thing says so. So this news station says so. So this news and the FBI admitted that's why they started to look into it. Well, the media was reporting it, so then they looked into it, and the media comes around and says the FBI is looking into this. It's true. And it turns out
that's a great loop that they always do.
And it turns out that they know that was a rumor started by Hillary Clinton's campaign. They know what it is now. They absolutely know what it is, but they don't talk about that.
Right. These news organizations consistently get caught lying for extremely important political reasons, and they'd lie their asses off, and then I'm shouted at that I should believe everything they say. How the hell am I supposed to trust these people?
And then Run DMC comes out and does a rap about how now is not the time to question.
Oh, right, exactly. Don't question.
The party of
don't
science.
Question.
Party of science is telling us now it's.
Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. It's like, geez,
no idea.
Okay.
I'm sure they just throw some low-level intern as the whipping boy on that. Probably.
Oh, right. Anytime they get caught, that's just say, an intern tweeted that.
I had no idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
DZ Drunk, what's up, man? How can she get away with that? How can
this is off topic, but DZD, you kind of called the Gamestop, like right before it started flying again. You actually said on the show that it's cheap as fuck right now.
Yeah. So speaking of that,
what a weird day.
GameStop is today, right? Today and yesterday.
Well, about 3 hours before close, it's back down to 100.
Whoa!
Look at that! It went up to 170, came back down to 100. Man, and I even texted you, said I was going to straddle it, or I should straddle it.
I know. I thought I should too. I just don't have any money on Robinhood, and I need to switch over.
I got a list. I can just show it quick. I'm sleeping my stuff. Here's a list of the stocks I was going to short last week, but I'm still kind of recovering from the Nokia kicking the balls. I don't know if you guys can see this, but every single one of these is down like 15% at least this week. Oh man!
Did you show it? I couldn't see it, but you had 10 stocks picked to short, and they all.
It's not. God, I just gotta take away my background.
There you go.
But it was Tesla, Papa John's, DoorDash, Bumble, Carvana, and Microvision. And
I wish you would have done it, dude.
The Tesla one was $5K, and I was gonna do it 2 weeks ago. I went and looked at the same one. It's like $20K right now.
Meaning you would have made 15K.
15K so far. So far, I would have made 15K.
Damn.
I mean, I don't want to sit here and bellyache, but my God.
Is it too late to do it now?
So here's the.
Did you miss the boat?
Like, I almost wonder if the bombing of Syria has something to do with the stock market starting to turn down too. It's kind of weird that it looks like today we're seeing some big cracks in the bubble.
Yeah, I wonder if these companies knew.
Oh, interesting. And I do think too that it's weird that Nokia got put in with Gamestop, because Nokia has got like billions of shares outstanding, where GameStop has a much smaller shares out there, so it's easy. It's going to move a lot more for that reason. I almost wonder if a lot of people that were stuck holding bags on Wall Street bets and stuff just not selling. So it's going to be way easier for stock to move up if a lot of people aren't selling. There's just way less selling pressure that way. So I wonder if that has something to do with it too. But here's the thing about the stock market. So the stock market is down a lot today, a lot of red in the stock market. And this is, I thought it was still going to run up before this next stimulus, because that's what kept the stock markets going. It's just how much money is being printed and how much money is being infused into the economy. It's kind of crazy to me that we're right around the corner from like another few $1 trillion bailout, and the market's already turning. So what happens after this bailout comes out? Then what happens to the market?
It's gonna go up a little bit and then plummet. But I've been saying the stock market's gonna plummet for years.
Right for another round of stimulus. I read something. I should have brought it to the show.
Ned Pepper.
It was somebody talking about how Biden's newest stimulus might save us from like reflation, basically just meaning we need inflation right now, and inflation was getting so low that Biden might save us from that.
Oh, great. Yeah.
I think it's starting to plummet too. Especially, here's the thing too. I think a lot of the reason the market kept going up is Tesla. Tesla turned into a fucking meme stock. I'm saying to the blue in the face. I'm a Tesla fanboy. I've got one. I had another in order, and I'm going to look at the why, maybe even this weekend. I'm a huge Tesla fanboy. Their stock's not worth anywhere near that. Once that goes, it's got to bring down these other tech stocks with it. And I think that's super overpriced. And there's shorting Biden's America. Well, especially when they're talking about a 1% tax on buying stocks and an unrealized gain tax. I mean, that alone would just kill the market.
You, Ned Pepper, and DZ Drunk right now are all saying this market's about to crash, aren't you?
Yeah.
That makes me want to short it. It makes me want to really short some stuff.
God damn it. I was going to buy puts. Puts are so hard to time. But it was like a week and a half ago, I was seriously looking at it, just going, if I didn't lose so much money on Nokia, I'd be doing this right now.
You text earlier saying you were going to straddle GameStop. How great would you should have done that.
I know.
So that's where you get options. Yeah, go ahead. Explain that.
For people that doesn't know, the straddle is basically if a stock moves a lot one way or the other, either way up or way down, you make money. And GameStop was at 170. And so I was going to buy a put, meaning I'm gambling it goes down, and a call, meaning I'm gambling it's going to go up.
That's really smart.
My call would be basically worthless right now, or way less, but my put would be
way up.
A lot of money.
Way up.
So I should have done it. I don't know why
I should have
trouble
too.
pulling the trigger right now. Yeah.
I just need to get some money on these sites so I can do it when it happens.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance GameStop shoots back up tomorrow, and I might do it then. If it goes back up to 150.
If it's at 108, I would straddle it. It could drop to 40 and it could go up to 200.
Yeah, it's not going to sit at 108.
No,
it's
not. So
I think right now with the way that the stimuluses are going to come out, and so I think straddling is a really good option to hedging, because I don't think shit's going to stay the same right now. Let's put it that way.
They seem like really good bets to me.
Yeah. And then I was thinking at so the market closes here at, what is it, 3? And I'm looking at Bitcoin. I'm looking at Bitcoin going, this is probably good news. This market's dropping and Bitcoin's really not. And then Bitcoin started dropping. So I was thinking this might be a good silver lining for Bitcoin, thinking it's decoupled from the stock market.
But then it started dropping. It was at 47 last I looked.
Here's the thing, too. So you got Elon single-handedly owning probably about $2 billion of Bitcoin. He's tweeted out that he's not a big fan of Bitcoin. He thinks it's better than cash. He knows that they have one bad earnings quarter, he loses billions of dollars. I could see them selling before earnings to really pump that up. Yeah, I agreed then. I didn't think this was going to start happening until after the stimulus. And I thought the stimulus would be pushed back until late March, early April. Guess it was down today. Oh, nice. Good work. Did you do a put, or were you just actual shorting it? So, I can't hear you, Nate. Say something again.
Oh, whoops. I was going to say he must have shorted it in order to be down 6,000, right? Not a put.
Unless it's put cost him over 6,000.
Yeah, and then it was to be up only 600, barely ahead. You know what I mean? I don't know.
No, you're right.
Yeah, shorted it. Oh, he even said I was short Dow futures.
2 contracts. But anyway, the conspiracy theorist part of me is starting to wonder, okay, is this why we're picking today to go and bomb Syria?
You saying that, okay, so the market dropped 10% today or whatever. A lot of these stocks did anyway. I actually don't know.
Yeah, not the market, but a lot of the bigger ones.
And it looks like
stuff.
Maybe it's starting to crack. And on the same day, later in the day, we bomb Syria. I think your conspiracy theory there might have something to it.
And we did it after it was Biden's bedtime. CNN reported that he likes to go to sleep earlier than his predecessors, and so Sleepy Joe.
What we got here? Daniel Kaz. Satan is a dual-horned beast of materialism and hedonism. I can believe that. Anyway, it's a crazy day.
Yeah.
We're bombing Syria. The market looks like maybe it's cracking and starting to drop.
No end in sight to the COVID madness, even though I think I saw something like 20% now of the population of most states, 20-something% is already vaccinated. But at the same time, we have Fauci saying that we're going to be wearing masks until the next year yet.
Right. It's we made the point earlier.
Go fuck yourself.
For anyone under 50, it is actually less dangerous than the flu.
Yes.
And that, in my opinion, is with overinflated statistics already. Mm-hmm. So it's probably way less dangerous than the flu.
Yeah.
And so, and there's this worldwide push to vaccinate everybody. It's super important. Why? It's like, it makes me distrust the vaccine more. That's me. But it's just like, holy shit, it's not even as dangerous as the flu. I'm glad it's there
for people to take a look at and say, all right, do I want to get the vaccine or do I want to just risk it, essentially? I like the choices there.
Me too, and anyone can choose what they want.
We know it's really not going to be a choice. And I don't think it's going to be coming from the government. It's going to be backhanded. It's going to be coming from airlines. It's going to be coming from Ticketmaster. It's going to be coming from shitty restaurants in blue states. Yeah. Whoever wants to virtue signal the biggest. It's getting harder and harder to one up these other virtue signaling douchebags.
Oh shit.
Now you got to go onto TikTok and make a terrible rap to basically virtue signal right now.
Dude, what's interesting? It makes me think of the C.S. Lewis quote about tyranny, where, do you know which one I'm talking about? He says, it's like far worse tyranny from people who want to do good or something. Here you go. This might be it. There you go. Let me just read this quote.
Yeah.
Of all tyrannies, a tyranny sincerely exercised for the good of its victims may be the most oppressive. It would be better to live under robber barons than under omnipotent moral busybodies. The robber baron's cruelty may sometimes sleep. His cupidity may at some point be satiated. But those who torment us for our own good will torment us without end, for they do so with the approval of their own conscience.
That's why of any villain in any story or book ever, Dolores Umbridge is the worst one.
Yeah. And that's who we're being ruled by, is Dolores Umbridge.
Here's the thing with this, though. I don't think at this point a lot of these people really even believe it's for the good of its victims at this point. I think it's turning into like, I'm right, you're wrong. And we have these little shitty Gretchen Whitmers that nobody knew who she was a while ago, all of a sudden have power and be like, oh, I like this.
Right.
I don't think they really believe this. You know why I know they don't really believe this? Because Gavin Newsom went to French Laundry, and the mayor of fucking I don't remember, Dallas flew to a beach resort. I mean, these people wouldn't be doing this stuff.
Right. All of these people.
It's dangerous.
And that those are the rulers like Newsom and so on. But also the people at just the regular people enforcing this shit, they don't believe it either. They're shouting at you to wear a mask, but why are you here? You should be at home locked in your basement.
It's like we talk about whenever someone approaches someone to bully them into wearing a mask. If they really believe that, they would be distancing themselves from that person. They wouldn't be fucking trying to touch them.
Absolutely. I think that they're subconsciously motivated by hate and power and ego.
We need to go back and look at everyone that's ever taken a selfie and posted it as their profile picture with a mask on, or anyone that's ever typed wear a goddamn mask, and make sure that they never get voted into any position of minute power ever. Because we talk about these Gavin Newsoms and the Gretchen Whitmers. Well, these people have 1/100 millionth of the power, and they like that 1/100 millionth enough that they're going to go out and be this ridiculous and make a spectacle. And I think that's what it's about. I think it's we showed that clip the last time of these are the guys that are bullying you, and it was those idiots underneath the bridge. Yeah, they went from getting picked last in kickball to getting this much little bit of a power, and that's what we're seeing right now.
Yep, absolutely, man. I really think we're on to something with this. I really do. I think that the motivation behind the mask enforcement and so on, it isn't, fundamentally it comes from a place of hatred. I really think that. Yeah. And I think that they're vicious.
It's a way to also, oust Trump, because without this, Trump would have won. But two, to be like, Trump, fuck this. He said this is the flu. It's not the flu. So like when going back to the one bodybuilder that gets this and is in the hospital for a while, and they ask if it's like the flu, they look at that and say, see, Trump's an idiot. Trump's an idiot. But they're not worried about it because they're stuffing their fat faces with it, when the only people that really get hurt about it are the really old or the obese. If they were really scared about this, they would be going and exercising and getting out.
Oh, yeah. See, it's never been about health. It's never been about health. If it was about health, people would do things that make them healthy.
Yes.
It's about weird control, and it's scary and bizarre.
Yeah.
And we need to just ignore it and just go on with our lives.
This might be an area bias of where I'm at and stuff, but it feels like people are starting to get sick of this.
I think so, too. It's been long enough. We've discovered it's not so dangerous. So
I went to a gas station, and there's a group of people without masks. And even me, who I fucking hate this mask mandate, I even kind of like caught me off guard a little bit. And somebody walked in that obviously knew him and says, like, put your mask on. And like 7 of them turned to him and said, take that stupid shit off. And
thank God for those people.
These guys, they were just congregating in this gas station without masks and stuff. I think there's starting to be a pushback on this.
Good.
But I mean, look, we talked about the red states, how Florida's basically opened up. And now the next thing they're talking about, California, is California has a new variant. It's the California variant. It might be deadlier.
Yes.
Experts are shook.
I know. See, that's what I've said from the beginning they'll do. This will never end. Even if this vaccine stops COVID, they'll say, well, there's a new variant. This new variant's we don't know anything about this new variant. And then once that doesn't work, they'll say, oh no, it's swine flu number 777. Oh God, get your mask on.
We were in undergrad, so we're talking 10 years ago. We had that fun little blog we did that we'd post once in a while. And I remember it was the bird flu. And we were writing about bird flu, how the media's pushing it on us. And
yeah,
it's such a nothing and everything.
Right.
Yeah, there'll be variants every year, basically by definition of a virus.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what viruses
the vaccines,
do.
They've already gone from one vaccine to 2 vaccines, now to even 3 this time. But now it's also going to be seasonal. Oh, and it doesn't stop you from getting it or spreading it. So now you have to still go quarantine. What the fuck's the point?
Everything.
Yeah, what is the point of this shit? It's so dumb.
You're on that video, even though it's off topic. You should almost play it.
I was looking for this one.
Yeah.
Let's play this while we're talking.
This is on topic.
Yeah.
Over schools. Florida schools have been open the whole school year. We have every parent in Florida has the right to send their child to in-person instruction. Every worker has a right to work and earn a living and put food on their table, and every business has a right to operate. And consequently, our state is doing very well compared to these other states in terms of education and economy. But we also have 26 other states in the District of Columbia that have higher per capita COVID mortality than we do. We have 28 states that have higher per capita cases than we do for the bulk of the pandemic. And if you look right now, states that are always held up by people in Biden's administration, like New York, have way higher per capita patients hospitalized for COVID right now. So there's no basis in medical, there's no basis in economics, there's no basis in reality to do this except to punish a state that is doing it better. You hear this debate.
Which is funny because they are doing it better than New York and California. And Biden was talking about a travel ban to Florida.
I know. They might do that.
Yeah, they're still talking about it.
Yep. Which is unbelievable in the United States. Yeah. But look, they're doing better. So it's clear. And you know what? This is what I would have guessed. I would have said, look, I think that throwing all these masks in the trash, everyone going about their day, living their lives, talking with one another. Do you know what will happen? COVID deaths will go down. COVID mortality will go down. People won't be as stressed out, you know?
Yeah, people will be healthier.
Yeah, being extremely stressed, that makes you sick.
People were better off fighting this a year and a half ago than they are right now. And it's not going away. So you're going to have to fight. You're going to be exposed eventually. Everybody's going to be.
It's, we can't fight a disease. I've been saying it since the beginning. We can't fight a disease like this. We're making the disease worse by putting on masks, not talking to each other. I think it's really damaging to the children's immune systems. I mean, it's damaging to our immune systems, not interacting with each other. That's how we build immune systems, you idiots.
What's going to happen to these infants? I mean, they know. There's article to article showing that kids that have pets and kids that live in a farm have way less allergies. Yeah. And that's the reason why. Their body gets used to this. It doesn't overreact when it finally sees an allergen.
They're out in the dirt. They're eating mud.
Yeah, there's a reason kids eat dirt, and it's about the germs.
Yeah.
These are settled scientific ideas. And now we have...
But don't tell the medical professionals of this country.
We legit have 1-year-olds that have not seen another kid in their entire life. Like, what the fuck?
Can you imagine? That must be so strange.
I saw a video where somebody brought their toddler, infant, so about 6 months or so, to Target. And they said, they filmed the baby. The baby's just
I've seen that.
Bright-eyed and smiling and kind of laughing. And they said, oh, it's the first time she's seen other people. We just had to get out. We made a quick run. Don't worry. We stayed away from people and blah, blah, blah. And people were acting like it was a cute video.
It's really crazy what's going on in the world right now. It better end. I just worry it's forever. And if it is, we're really fucked. You know
what? It's probably forever in Canada. It's probably forever in some parts of Europe. But Europe's fighting this pretty good. I was looking for someone to rage at about Syria bombing, but not at you guys, I guess.
No, I think we're probably on the same page. We should not be bombing Syria. It is bad.
If you think we should be bombing Syria, I'd love to know why.
No, I think he's against.
Good. it's like I said earlier, I'll reiterate. It's obviously not about human rights, or else we'd be looking at China and North Korea. It's obviously not about the safety of the citizens, because Syria is not a threat to the U.S. at all.
No, it's about money in the pockets of the deep state, as well as,
what president
imperialism abroad, probably.
What president was it that warned about the deep state? It's kind of when they were like.
Well, several of them have.
But there's
JFK
a really
did.
Popular speech. Yeah, good. So are we.
Yeah. No, JFK warned
Schools.
against the deep state. I
don't really know much about DeSantis, really.
I think Rockefeller did, or not Rockefeller. FDR, Roosevelt.
But I hope he runs for president.
Who? DeSantis?
Yeah, I don't know much about the guy, but just based off of COVID and how they're opening up Eisenhower. I think that might be the one I'm thinking of too.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Ned Penn.
Because there's kind of a popular speech on it. And I think it was when he was leaving. And we know that JFK didn't exactly leave the presidency.
No, but he talked about the deep state too.
Yep.
He said secret society.
Just for the heck, go to YouTube and put Eisenhower deep state farewell speech.
Okay, yeah, good idea.
Because, I mean, even the New York Times printed that article talking about the cabal. They call it a cabal, which is really weird. The cabal to basically unseat Trump. And that's why. They couldn't even wait a month and a half to fucking start bombing people again.
Yeah, I've seen this. You're totally right. It is weird that the New York Times used the term cabal.
Cabal. How weird.
That is so weird. When they confessed to rigging the election.
It's almost like they were poking that Q hornet's nest a bit too.
I think they were. Mike. Maybe my mic was muted for a second.
I heard you on my end, but.
Oh, if you heard me, then it wasn't.
Yeah.
Well, I can hear you. Okay, here's this Eisenhower speech. It's actually really great. Let's play it.
I come to you with a message of leave taking and farewell.
This speech did not get very much attention. When a new president is coming to power, as John Kennedy was...
Nope, I just want the speech.
God damn it, I know.
16 minutes long. Yeah, well, let's just play the beginning of it, and
messages to our nation. My special thanks go to them for the opportunity of addressing you this evening. 3 days from now,
military industrial.
in the service of our country, I shall lay down the responsibilities of office as, in traditional and solemn ceremony, the authority of the presidency is vested in my successor. This evening, I come to you with a message of leave-taking and farewell.
Can you imagine Biden speaking like this?
A few final thoughts with you, my countrymen.
We got to show his press secretary's
like every other citizen, I wish the new president and all who will labor with him Godspeed.
We might be looking for
I pray that
needle in a haystack.
I know it might.
Unless you did type in military-industrial contract instead of deep state.
Okay, I'll try that.
I thought there was one about the deep state too, but
this talks about it. I mean, the deep state and the military-industrial complex are
one of the same,
right? The MIC is just part of the bigger deep state, is what it is. I just want a couple minutes here.
Yeah, if we can't find it, it's not a big deal. It's just kind of cool to.
Here's 51 seconds. Let's try.
So is the very structure of our society. In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes. We should take nothing for granted. Only an alert and knowledgeable citizenry can compel the proper meshing of the huge industrial and military machinery of defense with our peaceful methods and goals, so that security and liberty may prosper together.
Dude, he nailed it in this speech.
Yeah.
This might be our video that we play out as well, because it's really true what he called. Yep. Okay, let's read what... Oh, this one doesn't... Okay, let's read this real quick. Have you seen General Wesley Clark video, 7 countries in 7 years? Yeah, we should show that, because he names 7 countries that they're going to invade. It was like Iraq, Iran, Syria. You know, do you remember that, Garrett?
No.
Oh, yeah. And then Ned Pepper says, they really weren't bombing Syria so much as they were bombing Iranian-backed forces following attacks on U.S. forces in Baghdad. God, what a shithole mess. Okay, so at least that's an explanation.
At least a better argument to just leave that shithole.
That's what I was going to say. It's a great argument for why are we over there? You know, let's get out of there. Bring all the troops home. They'll be safer. America will be safer. Ron Paul's been nailing that for years. That we need to just stop doing these.
Speaking of great speeches, you remember his "What If" video with a Metallica song in the background?
Yeah.
That's the best speech maybe ever.
Should we show that?
Sure. You just got to find the Metallica one because that was it's been a Ron Paul "What If."
Yeah.
There it is, 3 down.
How long
Madam Speaker.
4 minutes. Yeah, let's play it.
Yeah.
It's about 4 minutes. This is a great speech.
I have a few questions for my colleagues. What if our foreign policy of the past century is deeply flawed and has not served our national security interests? What if we wake up one day and realize that the terrorists...
Hey, all right. Yeah, you came to the right channel, man. I went door to...
I couldn't find my Ron Paul shirt in time.
I went door to door in Iowa.
Threat is a predictable consequence of our meddling in the affairs of others and has nothing to do with us being free and prosperous. What if propping up repressive regimes in the Middle East endangers both the United States and Israel? What if occupying countries like Iraq and Afghanistan and bombing Pakistan is directly related to the hatred directed toward us? What if someday it dawns on us that losing over 5,000 American military personnel in the Middle East since 9/11 is not a fair trade-off for the loss of nearly 3,000 American citizens, no matter how many Iraqi, Pakistani, and Afghan people are killed or displaced? What if we finally decide that torture, even if called enhanced interrogation technique, is self-destructive and produces no useful information, and that contracting it out to a third world nation is just as evil? What if it is finally realized that war and military spending is always destructive to the economy? What if all wartime spending is paid for through the deceitful and evil process of inflating and borrowing?
Okay, I gotta pause it, man. He's nailing it so hard, exactly what we're talking about with the bombing in Syria.
That might be my favorite speech ever.
It's really great. And I want to make a point about torture. When we legalized torture, I was so against that, and I still am. I think that, if you said, am I living in an evil society? Am I in an evil country? The one question you could ask, is torture legal? And if it is, go ahead and put yes.
God, there's Judge Napolitano's got a book out, and it's kind of right when the Gitmo stuff was happening, and not only the torture, there's no trial, there's nothing, and they found one of the guys there is just innocent, so he's basically there getting tortured.
I know. And he was a taxi driver. That guy. They tortured him for 15 years.
Jesus. And they talked about his story and stuff and what they were doing. And he was completely innocent. And even when they returned him home, they had him cuffed and stuff. And supposedly on the handoff, the U.S. troops basically said hey, we have to take these cuffs off, but you want to recuff him. And they're like, why would we recuff him? He's innocent.
It's really shameful. It really is evil. And, countries that torture... Dude, when I was a little kid, I was told that we don't do torture in America. We're better than that. Even if they torture us, we don't do torture because it's wrong. And that's really important. And we got rid of so many great things that used to be American, in my opinion. It's fucking unreal. Under Bush and Obama.
Yeah. I mean, look, Patriot Act under Bush, strengthened and extended under Obama.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that, when it comes to Trump, I think he's obviously better than Hillary. Less wars, all of that. But a lot of shit that he could have done as president. And he ran on stuff like, you're going to be doing your taxes on a postcard. We're obviously not.
Yeah, I know.
You know, he kind of like we started to see that when it got close to the end, when the election was here, and even afterwards, when he was redlining stuff in the stimulus bill saying, why are we giving money to different countries? Like, where was that Trump for the 4 years?
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, I mean,
we saw signs of it when COVID happened and he wouldn't shut down the world and stuff. But
you know, that's the thing about.
I feel like it's a missed opportunity with his presidency.
Yeah, he did some things I really like, particularly with the wars, getting out of them. But I think he didn't come through in a lot of ways, which I guess is to be expected some. But when people say like, oh, 2024, Trump could win and stuff, I think to myself, I don't want Trump to win. You know, look, I want Trump over Biden in 2024. If that's my option, okay, I will definitely vote for Trump. But let's get I would want someone new. You know,
here's the problem.
Get Candace Owens in there.
I'm a big fan. I can't think of a single person.
You know what ticket I like, Garrett? Shapiro Owens. Let's get a couple people under 75 in the.
So I agree with the eggs thing. Here's the thing, that Patriot Act we were just talking about is probably going to get strengthened under them.
I don't think so. I mean, because I think that's a. I guess I base it on my faith that they aren't neocons.
But the Republicans brought us the Patriot Act. Not only that, the average Republican strongly backed it.
I know,
and Democrats were against it until Obama was for it.
Yeah, I know.
Now everyone's
which is
for
more
it.
Evidence of the
now
deep
everybody
state.
That's not a Ron Paul supporter is for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is really bizarre.
Yeah. You want to talk about brainwashing and just how good they control people with the red versus blue thing. If you could talk to a Republican 10 years ago and ask them their thoughts on Russia, it's going to be Russia's terrible. Russia's a big threat. And if you talk to a Democrat, it's going to be the opposite. You talk to a Republican and a Democrat 2 years ago, they're going to be talking about how it's going to be completely switched. The Democrats are going to be saying how terrible Russia is, and the Republicans are going to be doing kind of the opposite. They're going to be like, it's overblown. It's not a big deal. The one that's changed in 10 years is that their masters told them what to think there.
Right. Yeah, I know.
Go look at when it was the debate versus Romney versus Obama. When they asked him who the biggest threat was to the U.S., Romney said Russia, and the Democrats laughed at. They openly laughed at the guy for saying Russia back then. If Biden would have said
there a
this
clip
year,
of that?
Yeah. Go type in Romney biggest threat to America, something like that, probably.
Okay, but before I do, I want to say, I agree. I really agree with the point you're making that Republicans used to say Russia was a huge threat. Now they say they're not. Democrats used to say Russians weren't a huge threat. Now they say they are. And this is like within the last 5 years. Okay.
Yeah. 10 years. I'm being too generous.
And I think that example you're making is one of the most concrete 1984-ish things that's going on.
Big time.
In 1984, where they say, we're at war with East Asia. We've always been at war with East Asia. I forget the other country. West Asia is our ally. And then the party switches it and they say, West Asia is the enemy. East Asia is our ally. Look at that. That really happens. Yep. That's something that's really bizarre to me.
That's the bad thing about this red versus blue thing is it's so easy to control people. So take that. We have two parties. We have a red party and a blue party. Why we don't have four, I'll never understand. We need the libertarian and we need like more of a communism party. Because you have Republicans that are supposed to be small government type of people. And they are more small government fiscally, but socially they're not. They're not small government. So then we have the Democrats as the opposite. They call themselves small government when it comes to social issues, but economic issues, they're not. Why don't we have a party that's small government on social and economic and big government on social and economic? Why do we not at least have 4?
You're right.
It's pretty.
And you know what we end up with?
Impossible. You know why we can't? Because it makes it impossible to actually have a candidate that's against the deep state,
right?
To be against the government.
Right.
It's impossible for us to have an anti-government candidate.
Right.
The closest we got was probably Trump, and we're paying for it right now.
You know what we ended up with because of this lack of 4 parties that you're saying? We end up with
everybody
2 parties that are both for big government on all issues.
Yep.
The Democrats aren't actually socially small government. No. They're huge government socially.
Look what they're doing. They're trying to make they're trying to take away the freedom of speech.
They're literal tyrants. They're trying to get rid of the Bill of Rights. And the Republicans, they're all big government guys too now.
Yeah, everyone is. You're right.
So we've been tricked there.
They act like because they're for abortion that they're small government. I mean, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Republicans really need to think things through in their next candidate. Could not agree more. Bush remains highly unpopular, rightfully so.
Yeah, God, good riddance to the Bushes.
Okay.
Can you see it?
There it is. McCain was unpopular. Great. Don't like the guy. Romney is further digging his grave. Good. Hopefully he does faster. And then there is an outsider, Trump, who remains wildly popular and fared pretty well. Yeah, not fairly well with the minorities. He had more minority support than any Republican president ever, right?
Yeah.
Trump escalated in every theater, took the gloves off in Iran. There were mass graves and was carpet bombing. He assisted Saudi with Yemen genocide. Yeah, you're right. Trump, that's kind of the point I'm making. He did not go far enough.
As far as getting out of the wars and stuff. Yeah, and I've heard that criticism of Trump that actually he did lots of drone strikes and things, and I'm totally against that. The only thing I can say about Trump that I liked in regards to foreign policy is no full-on wars, and he was drawing down the amount of troops. He was bringing them. He was trying to bring them home, and he did get a lot out.
But Daniel, I 100% agree with you there.
Yeah, and that's a great point.
I mean, if they were coming and stringing up ex-presidents as war criminals, and he got in the mix because of that, I wouldn't shed a tear. You know?
Right, me neither. Okay, so I wonder if Ned Pepper is kind of saying the Republicans need to pick a candidate who can win and who isn't one of those old dipshits, but maybe Trump is going to be the best choice. You know what I mean?
I said it before that. Before the 6th, I thought for sure he was running in 2024, and I probably thought he was going to win. After the 6th happened, I said, that's not going to happen anymore. I'm starting to think it's going to. It doesn't seem to really have hurt his popularity with actual.
Well, that's because the truth of the 6th is so different from what is portrayed by the left.
Yep.
And so because the Republicans are aware of that, he hasn't lost much support.
If it's Biden versus Trump, I think Trump wins.
Me too. I do too.
And right now, and it's so early to tell, the polls mean nothing. But they did a poll they had a bunch of kind of bigger name Republicans there saying, who do you think is going to win the nomination? Not only was Trump number 1 by pretty far, astronomically far, number 2, I think, was like Eric Trump.
That's great. That's really funny. Yeah, it's probably going to be Trump, right? There's no one else. No one else can come in and push him out.
If I could put money on it, I'm going to say no.
You would say it's not going to be Trump as the... Well, if it's not Trump and it's like Romney or McCain... Oh, McCain's dead. It's Jeb Bush. If it's Jeb Bush and Romney, they have no chance, right? 0 chance of beating Biden if it's Romney.
Even if they do...
Yeah, it wouldn't matter.
We have a little bit younger Biden, you know.
I mean, I hope it's Trump too.
Me too.
I do too, but I just wanted to make the point that, in my opinion, we need some new blood who, even though Trump is a way outsider, I want even further outsider.
I think you're looking in the wrong area with Shapiro and Owens.
I don't know, man. I don't think they're really politicians.
They're not libertarians. I think in your mind they have some cool shit against cancel culture and everything.
Yeah.
But I think you're building them up as libertarians when they're really not.
You might be right. Right. I don't know a ton about him.
Shapiro's against gay marriage.
Is he really? That's ridiculous.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I mean, see, that's really stupid.
Yeah. I mean, I would take both of them in a heartbeat over what we got now.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good. I mean, I need to look into them more. But there's no one else. Okay, I'm trying to get somebody else. Why don't you run, Garrett? I'll vote for you.
Fuck no.
Yeah, you can't be bothered to run for president in 2024? Jeez, all right. Should I play the Romney gets...
Yeah, if you could find it. But like people were basically laughing at him and like
I kind of remember this now you say it.
And stuff.
It actually was in the debate, wasn't it?
Yeah. Maybe put Romney, something about Russia up there, maybe.
Romney was right about Russia? How about that?
Sure. Give it
Might show what he said.
Welcome back. The crisis in Syria is worsening. The Ghouta area is still being bombarded by government forces, and as the death...
That's kind of a strange...
...threat, because a few months ago, when you were asked what's the biggest geopolitical threat facing America, you said Russia. Not Al-Qaeda, you said Russia. In the 1980s are now calling to ask for their foreign policy back because the Cold War has been over for 20 years. But, Governor...
Obama did a good job in these debates.
When it comes to our foreign policy, you seem to want to import the foreign policies of the 1980s, just like the social policies of the 1950s.
Okay, but I think that right there shows the point we're making.
Yeah, for sure. It's completely opposite right now.
Obama was saying Russia's not a threat. That's the 1980s.
Can't believe you. If you ask a Democrat right now, who's the bigger threat, Russia or Al-Qaeda?
Dude, look at that.
They're gonna say Russia.
So instead of East Asia and whatever else other one from 1984, we've got basically the Middle East, Russia, and China, and we just switch our enemies. Who's our enemy today? In the parties, switch them. To who is the enemy? Who are our allies?
Yeah, it just shows that the red versus blue thing, they have no convictions. They're just believing whatever they hear.
And it shows that we live on a farm.
If you reason yourself into thinking small government's good, right? You think government's bad, people could watch over themselves. In the other corner, you have government's needed, people are evil, whatever. Why is it then when you supposedly have the small government people are big government? We brought that up earlier. That just goes to show you can't reason yourself into being you can't reason yourself into being a Republican or a Democrat. You could reason yourself into being more of like a communist and a libertarian, but the idea that you could reason yourself into being small government here, but giant government here, when it's the exact same reasoning, doesn't make sense. Does not make logical sense to me.
Right.
So basically everybody, other than the 6% of people vote third party, so 94% of voters are as bad as these people switching because they do it every day in their lives.
Right. It just proves how tricked everyone is, you know? Right?
Yeah. During the start of the Iraq War, Ben Shapiro said he doesn't care if Iraq civilians die.
Yeah, I read that comment. He also said that he said something about Jews build things and Palestinians blow things up or something. Yeah, okay. I've heard two examples of Ben Shapiro that I don't like. But so
right
I'll
now,
have to look more into those.
Now he's just kind of the resistance. So you see him talking about how dumb it is that people are being censored, and he's makes some good points when it comes to he's small government in the economy.
He's a capitalist. See, that's what I was going to say. That's what I like.
Yeah, so you got to think. I mean, it's a rational thought. Oh, this guy is a small government guy. Oh, he's actually not though, because he's just following the red party. He actually thinks that these people in the Middle East should die for whatever fucking reason.
Right, and he thinks gay people shouldn't be able to get married. I mean,
yeah, how dumb is that,
dude?
How dumb is that?
Yeah, it's so dumb. Let me read Ned Pepper's most recent comments. I don't think it's Trump. New blood is indeed needed. My fear is that Trump splits the Republican Party and there's no hope in slowing the socialists. My fear is that Trump splits the Republican Party. Yeah, he splits it between stupid, evil Republicans who want the deep state.
He needs to split it and team up with the libertarians.
Right.
And they need to appeal to the independent voters.
He does kind of split the Republican Party between the Republicans who hate this country and the ones who love it. Don't you know what I mean? Like the deep state congressmen, also I won't say the deep state, but I'll say the senators and congressmen who are against Trump are stupid assholes. There you go.
Go so we can find a video quick. Put like Trump meets journalist kids. This is starting to kind of go around. Have you seen this?
Nope. Journalist kids.
See if it comes up. Play a little bit of this. It's just kind of another one below it. Yeah, there we go. Play a little bit of this. This is not the Trump we were shown in the media.
Okay.
This is actually the media's fucking kids. It's even kind of like, how many of you guys
should we take your children into the Oval Office? Can we leave your parents out here? Do you want your parents in the Oval Office or out?
I agree.
The Oval Office. You know, your parents are being very nice right now. I can't believe it. Right? Because they don't want to embarrass themselves in front of you.
Hang on. That cracks me up, but I'm not sure that's super great to be saying.
You know, I didn't hear this part. The one I watched, he's already in, so kind of play it out.
Okay. I mean, that makes me laugh, but...
Do you understand that?
I don't
They're being so nice. I can't believe it. He's a great man, and he got treated very, very unfairly. He got treated really unfairly.
Called that.
And he's a hell of a man, too.
Sorry, say that again.
He's saying that he thinks Trump's just kind of
in on the game. Yeah, yeah. I could see that.
Yeah, you said that was your worry since the beginning.
Right. So I always kept about 20% of belief that maybe Trump is a snake in the grass.
Yeah. So it's interesting that he brought that up.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's go inside. We'll go in the Oval Office. Whose this is?
Longtime friend of the Clintons. Yeah, stuff like that makes me very suspicious.
Does everybody know the name of this office? At the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And you know they say this is the most important office anywhere in the world. Is that right? Yes. And you're in the Oval Office? Yes. And your parents are behaving very nicely for a change. I can't believe it. That means they love and respect you, right? Yes. Let me get over here. We'll take a great picture.
These poor kids better hope IQ isn't hereditary.
You love your country? Got it? One more kid.
See, you're not going to see like Biden do that. You just love your country.
Right. Yeah, Biden's not smart enough.
Just clap for that, you stupid bastard.
Hey. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for following, dang turn. Clap for that, you stupid bastards.
How did that not get more airtime?
Because the media is completely on Biden's side, of course. Yeah, I know.
Our media is just terrible, and it's exhausting.
It really is. I mean, it honestly is the enemy of the people. I believe that. You know,
when we get on their show, it'd be fun to see the spin of why what us going to Syria really is just a peacekeeping mission.
Right. Ugh. He was never an outsider. Miggles talking about Biden. He'll grope the little girls. No kidding. Dude, I don't want to play that video again of the compilation of Biden being creepy with little girls.
It's terrible to watch. It's
fucking
awful.
Yeah, Daniel, I'm suspicious of Trump.
Yeah. I do think, let's take Trump out of the equation. When they act like the left and the right hate each other, they don't. I mean, who was it just recently? Mitch McConnell just
clap for that, you stupid bastard.
Twitch president. Yeah, the president of Twitch is following us.
Dang.
Wow. He commented on Perry's show. What were you saying, Garrett? You were just saying something.
All right. Yeah, lost it.
Oh, something about Trump.
Oh, because I don't think the left and right.
Oh, yeah.
They act like they hate each other. They'll go on news thing. They'll even ask, like, Hillary, what's one good thing you could say about Trump? And she acts like she can't come up with anything. She says, his children. I do think that taking Trump out of the equation, that's an act. I think the left and the right, who was it? Mitch McConnell was leaving and like fist bumped Feinstein on the Senate floor and stuff. Like, so I do think that Dan's making a good point. I think the left and the right are the same coin.
I do too.
I mean, look at the
top.
Senate. The
Yeah.
Senate has got like a 20% favorability, something like that. But it's something like it's something ridiculous, like a 97% reelected stat, basically. They're reelected like 97% of the time. If you're a sitting Congress or senator, you're reelected. But then at the same time,
even when you're massively disapproved,
when they do these polls, they're saying only 20% of Americans approve of how the Senate and the Congress is doing.
Right.
It's because they have this fucking rigged, is what it is.
Right. It's because they have it rigged. It's because the democratic process is really rigged in America.
Oh, yeah.
And
it starts with the media. You think about it, they act like, well, if you don't vote, you lose your right to complain. No, you dipshit. The media has told you to vote either this idiot or this idiot, and you didn't have a choice.
Right.
Even when it comes to, they act like, well, you have the primaries. Well, if anything, the DNC showed us is that the primaries aren't like a legit thing anyway. But two, look how they do that. They're taking away Bernie's rise to fame, because that's a different story, and we'll get to that later. But you see 10 Republicans running, and you'll have them on the debate stage. Well, they'll have like Mitt Romney and McCain, two pieces of shit right in the middle, and they let those guys debate. And what they do is if we're debating, you mean debating, I say Nate. If I say anything with Nate, you get to rebut. And then if you say anything with my name, I get to rebut. But not only that, the moderators are asking just those two the questions. And
so
then
the whole thing is their show.
Out, you'll have like Ron Paul in the end, and they'll say, question for you, Ron Paul. And he's like, finally, since you have no chance of winning the election, are you just trying to maybe bring these guys further to the right? And it's like, answer a fucking question. Don't be loaded.
Yeah.
It's the media picking for you.
It's so unfair. It's unbelievable.
Everyone knew Biden was going to win the nomination. Even when he was really far down, they knew the media was going to pick up his bag for him and go with it. I mean, everyone knew that.
Yep. I mean, you're making a great point about how it's all rigged. On top of that, you have to be like a multimillionaire. So there goes everybody.
He's talking about Obama and the anti-war left. That was my favorite. Who was like, I mean, we had like that giant anti-war movement starting to come up. And we talked about this on the show a lot. Their only chance to stay in the war was to elect a secretly pro-war, anti-war guy. I mean, you remember you had like that lady whose son died in the war, Cindy something or other, that was getting super popular around that time, and she's going around and giving speeches.
Yep.
Obama gets elected. They give him a medal, like the Peace Prize.
Nobel Peace Prize.
All of these fucking anti-war people just disappear, and we have the most blood-hungry president we've seen.
Yep.
Ever.
You know, Bush also was a huge anti-war guy when he was running. All his speeches were about, we're not a nation of war, we're going to not do war. And then immediately he did shitloads of wars. Obama did the exact same thing. Yep. And the point he made about Obama destroyed the anti-war left, definitely true. And I think it's really interesting in the same way that Biden destroyed the Me Too movement.
Yep, Me Too's gone.
No more Me Too movement because of Biden.
Sheehan, thank you. Yeah, Cindy Sheehan, whatever you said. But yeah, that's so funny how that is no more. Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, because it would be damaging to their champion, so they no longer have a voice.
It is so funny. Everyone knows this, but Kamala Harris basically said in the debates, the primaries, basically said she believes the victim, and she believes that Biden raped this lady, and now she's the vice president for him.
Yeah, and she called him a racist. That was the only thing I've liked Kamala Harris ever said, is that Joe Biden's a sexual abuser and racist. It's the only time she's ever been honest.
And of course, the media is not going to hold her feet to the coals for that.
No, they're propping them up so obviously. It's not even a question anymore. I mean, I don't even think the people on the left really say the media isn't completely biased. I guess they still try to a little, but.
So not only now are we going back to wars, the difference this time is that we're all on house arrest at the same time.
Yeah, the world's getting weird.
Holy shit.
Dude, they're coming for the Bill of Rights. You know, I think that there might be some serious
there was
problems.
like $11 trillion was printed today.
Really?
Google that quick.
This makes me want to buy Bitcoin. You know what I mean?
You know what? Wait until the stock market crashes, then buy Bitcoin.
Yeah, because it's probably going to crash too.
Yeah. Bitcoin, watch, people are paying attention, is now 46,600. So it's lower than last time we checked, I believe.
This was from 2020. How could I find this?
Don't worry about it. I'll find it later. It's not worth.
But you think they printed 11 trillion? I mean, I just believe that.
Yeah.
They'll print any amount, you know?
Yeah.
Just any, and then give it to their rich friends.
You charge the taxpayers interest on it.
Yeah.
So they'll print it up, charges interest.
Well, like you said earlier, we need way more inflation now, don't we? Bread is too cheap.
How about that?
There's going to be some problems from these things. These things don't not have consequences.
No. And you know what? You talked about the age. When that GameStop thing going on, we were talking about how, who was it? Who was running it? But she's 84 years old, doesn't understand the fuck we were saying. But the people that are voting this stuff in, the average age of Senate and Congress has got to be in the 70s. They're not going to feel much repercussions from this. They got enough money that they're going to be insulated from it. But it's going to be their grandkids and their great-grandkids. Yep. They don't give a fuck. They're selfish idiots. They're going to be dead.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, man.
Hey,
thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, we really like your insight.
Yeah, come on back.
I think we would agree with most of your
views. If you're a big Ron Paul fan, you came to the right channel, like I said before. He's our guy.
But yeah, we're back to this now, so.
Well, that was a good rant about all that shit.
Yeah. We really did mean to get a new conspiracy in and everything today, guys. But as we were show prepping, we were seeing that the U.S. is bombing Syria. So it kind of took us off track here.
I wonder. I mean, look, okay, so let's make another prediction. This is not the end of the bombing of Syria. Or in the,
this is the next
Eastern.
4 years.
This is the beginning, yeah. Like we said before, I think we're going to be in a full-on fake war.
Do you know what the saddest thing of those was? I think Obama probably was the bloodiest president maybe ever. But the media never talked about it. And when they would, they'd talk about drone strikes, but they'd call them surgical. There's nothing surgical about a drone strike at all. They're killing civilians.
Right. No, there's no. They blew up weddings and schools and hospitals with drone strikes.
We're actually.
That's what we were going to do today, but we're kind of running out of time again. We only got 10 minutes.
We're really far behind. If you went back and watched it, it took us an hour to get through the update of the first SMG and this new one because they got deleted on YouTube. The channel did, but we found what we think is the new one, and there's a lot. We're far behind. There's a lot of videos there.
Yeah. But we're going to do an SMG one. We keep saying that. Probably on Monday or this weekend if we do a show this weekend.
We can do a bonus show this weekend maybe.
Yeah.
As long as we're free and in town and everything.
Well, let's show a couple just infuriating little videos.
Yeah.
I want to show these two. I want to show these two just annoying videos, okay? Here's the first one.
If you're white, yes, you are racist. Even if you think you're woke, we all benefit from oppression. Pretending you're not racist only makes racism grow.
Boo.
So she's admitting she's a racist there.
I know. She's saying
you're racist. Kill yourself.
I think
kill yourself.
I think 90% of this your racist shit is projection.
Yeah.
She's probably actually racist.
And now that Biden keeps having these slips of the tongue and forgetting where he's at, proving he's racist. Well, now, no, Biden's not the only one racist. Everyone is. So of course he is. Did you go back and watch our old video on that? Out of curiosity?
On the SMG?
Yeah.
Dude, one more thing just about this whole notion. Look, if you're white, you're racist is a racist notion. So the color of my skin makes me a racist, huh?
You know what
that's racist.
They had to change the definition of racism because of this.
They try to, but that does not fly with me.
Go to Merriam-Webster real quick and type in racism.
Did it change to racism?
Sure.
It contains
I'm
power.
Sure.
Fuck that. Webster. A belief that race is a fundamental determinant of human traits and capacities, and that racial differences produce an inherent superiority of a particular race.
Okay, go down.
Okay, so that definition is fine with me.
Yep, I like it. Yep.
Number 2.
But look, I think true racism is probably the most abhorrent thing I could really think of. But now it's so diluted. Everyone's a Nazi. Everyone's a racist.
Right. You're racist if you're white. Okay,
Yeah.
well, you're racist for thinking that. Idiots. The systemic oppression of a racial group to the social, economic, and political advantage of another. All right. A political or social system founded on racism and okay, so they didn't on this website.
Look at 2.
The systemic oppression of a racial group to the social, economic, and political advantage of another.
Specifically, white supremacy.
Okay. Ignoring the specifically part, systemic oppression.
Yeah, because it's saying that if you're not being oppressed, social, economic, political, that it's not racism.
Okay, good point. Well,
I'm impressed that the top definition isn't changed yet.
Yeah, it probably will be. Speaking of that, just as an aside, do you think that they will change the name of the White House?
No.
I don't either,
I
but
it's
they
too
might.
much satire there.
I know, but they've gone so ridiculous. I think that there's some chance that within the next 8 years, if Biden wins twice, they might. That's what I'll say. But they probably won't. It's really hard to change that.
I wouldn't shit my pants or anything if they did. I'd be like, oh God, here we fucking go.
Yeah, I would just think it's ridiculous.
Master bedrooms are racist now. They're not calling them master bedrooms anymore.
Oh, I know.
Computer term is shitty. But you've seen the article, like hiking is grossly white. We need to change that. Like there's articles
I saw
like
a thing
that.
like that. Veganism. We need to address our white veganism. Did you see that one?
No.
They were saying being vegan is like white supremacy. It's like, holy shit.
God. Yeah, everything is now. So they're diluting it so bad.
Yeah, I know. Which I'm glad that happens where it takes away from the wrong message. So because they've gone so insane, you start to go, okay, maybe you people are just crazy. And that's what's actually happened.
DZD, what do you think of the video? What's your guess?
On the SMcG stuff? Like what it is? Yeah.
You can still play this.
Because I'm still confused about SMcG.
We were like waiting with a bated breath to be like, when's the next one out? When's the next one out? And then they got deleted. We're so disappointed. And now it's almost like we're so far behind. It's going to take us 2 hours on air to fucking catch up.
I know, there's a bunch of them.
It's fun to do blind. It's so much fun.
I know, I want to do it blind.
Radio makes, but it's fun to do blind.
All right, here's another sing-songy idiot.
If you don't believe that there's white privilege, please don't teach. If you don't believe that Black Lives Matter, please don't teach. If you don't believe in systemic racism and how it negatively impacts our students of color and don't want to help dismantle those systems, please don't teach.
Blah. Okay, so here's the point I want to make about this crappy song.
Homeschool your kids, or go to send them to parochial schools.
Yeah, definitely.
Our charter. What's the name? Or it's not a public school, but not a private one. I always fucking lose the name of it.
I don't know. Is it charter?
But they basically have less government control, and they're always way better and destroy the public schools. But
my gut thinks LARP, but it's very interesting. Yeah.
You know what? I do too.
I'm with you.
Next show, but there's like 20 followers. Like we have more followers in our show than they got followers. We get more views than they do. Like what the fuck? we have none.
So you're saying it's not a very effective LARP? Yeah.
They're putting a lot of effort into a LARP
that's not paying off much.
It's not paying off. They put hours and hours into this thing, and it's not paying off. There are shows called The White Queen and The White Princess that are referring to the color of flower of the House of York. There's so many comments in the answer to these shows complaining because I think it's about race. You're good. Charter schools.
That's
Charter
funny,
schools.
Biggles.
But you know what's happening is, so like in California and stuff, they're not teaching at home. Of course, everyone's doing the Zoom teaching, and it's failing miserably.
Massive failure, yeah.
So there's some parents that are getting together and saying, hey, we should just take turns basically making a school where one of the parents take turns being teachers, and it's a massive success. So now teachers unions are calling it white privilege and racism, and they're trying to talk about how to outlaw it and stuff too. Yeah. Wanting the best for your kids is now
white privilege.
Yeah,
racism. Man, I'm so tired of hearing the term white privilege. I just don't care. Get out of my face with that.
Yep.
Okay, but I want to make the point about this teacher. So she
teacher?
subscribes to critical race theory, you know what I mean? And she
unfortunately teaches kids.
She unfortunately teaches kids, and I guarantee that like if she has some black students in her class, her teaching these horrible things do them no favors. Not amongst the other children, not for them themselves.
What do you want to bet if you take the average races, if you could take a line that shows where the average person, how much racism they are, what do you want to bet she's more racist than the average? And it's going to be racism by low expectations.
Yeah, absolutely that. And also racism. You have to include the racism of she hates white people as racism.
Yeah,
so she's
you're
far
right.
above on that.
I wasn't even thinking that. But taking that part out,
Still
I think she's
far above.
more racist
I agree.
to people of color than the average person
I
is.
agree.
Because there's going to be low expectations stuff.
See, she views the world through the lens of race. So all she sees is there's a black student, there's a Mexican student. And automatically she's racist. You know what I mean?
You know what happens here? So she's obviously younger. But look at that stupid, ugly face she's making. This is the one that, like, 3 years from now, she has half her head shaved and the other half is purple.
Yeah,
and she's...
You're right.
They do it to
you're
hide
totally
that
right. I'm surprised she doesn't
face.
have purple hair right now.
She's not old enough yet. She needs 3 more years and about 80 more pounds. And then it's going to happen.
Remind me. We'll look her up because that's probably true. But I think it's
There's
so
things that were getting
damaging.
Big on TikTok called glow ups, where they were showing like you'd have like the awkward pre-pubescent kid, and then they'd like show them slowly growing up into like a good, decent looking adult. And there was a couple of them that were turning like normal looking females. And you're like, oh yeah, normal looking, attractive looking. And like the last one is them just looking like you're going to find
Mad
them on our
Max.
video when we play the goth kids underneath the alleyway.
Yeah, I'd like to see that video.
And the comments are like, oh yeah, you go girl, fight the power. It's like, oh, you just destroyed your life.
Yep.
Look at that dumb face she's making there.
I know. She's an idiot. But see, she's Umbridge. She is that C.S. Lewis quote.
She wants to be. The little 1/1,000,000th of the power she has, which unfortunately for the kids is a lot over those kids.
Yep.
Views the world through the lens of race. Well said. So true. These people identify not as individuals, but strictly by race, which is like, yeah, he does.
Yeah, exactly. It's anti-racist.
Yeah, they're not reasoning themselves into there. It just started with one person one time changed their profile picture to a black square. So someone had to one-up that by black square in a fist. And then someone else had to one-up that by changing their name from Tracy to BLM Tracy. And then someone else had to one-up that by saying, I'm so woke that even I'm a racist. I think they're just trying to one-up each other like a bunch of idiots they are.
Yep. And Mac agreed. Lowering the bar for someone because of their race does the person a great disservice. Absolutely. It's racism to do
and
that.
we've seen that's for Biden. That's his racism comes in that flavor. I think more than most of his racism. I think he's a racist guy. I think
so do I. He definitely is.
Yep. I think he's way more racist than Trump.
And contained within Ned Pepper's first comment there was these people identify not as individuals but strictly by race, and that's the point. The great thing about America. You know what? The world, how you should view each other is as individuals. You know the idea that gender's a social construct?
Yeah.
Race, I could believe that race is a social construct. There really is no races. There's just there's just the human race.
Scientifically, there's not.
Yeah, I know. What is a white person? You know, are Jewish people white? They didn't used to be considered white.
No. As soon as
are Italians,
50 years
do you know
ago.
what I mean? Are Greek people? Are they Mediterranean? Are they white? We don't know. What about Latino? That's why they start saying Latinxes. So look, race could be a social construct. I think there's only one race, the human race. I think we're all individuals. That's how we have to see everybody. And then problem solved.
MLK is rolling around in his grave right now. But yeah, for sure. I mean, good point about that. There is a race, and
yeah, because what is a, you know?
Yep.
So it's really dumb, and they're so caught up in it. They're so just obsessed with race.
Yep.
Because they're racists. That's why I've said woke people are the most racist, sexist people on the planet. They're also sexist. It's really amazing because they are the things they pretend to fight against.
You know, as they do, what's funny is you'll see over and over where the super liberal women are like, if you don't have a uterus, you don't have any say in abortion. But then at the same time, they'll just, you know where I'm going with this already. You don't need to have a uterus to be a woman.
Yeah, lots of women have
males
penises.
Males have periods too.
Yeah, don't call it breastfeeding, call it chest feeding, or you're anti-trans.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. Boy, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
It's a funny world.
We should try doing. Dad, you have to go back and watch the S. McGee video if you haven't to get caught up. It's really weird. We might have to just do a special show to just get caught up because they're still releasing those. And it's going to take us a long time.
Yeah, it is.
And then we could start doing kind of our normal conspiracy segment again.
Yep, I like
it. If we're around this weekend, we should try doing one. Play that one out. Play
this,
fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is an 84-year-old lady trying to win a new car here, everybody.
Crank up the volume for this one.
Hang on.
Tell you what, that's looking good. That's looking really good. Miss Marianne!
She's a route bird to pass out.
That is a crazy putt.
That is awesome.
That's so hard to hit this putt. Look at that. Good for her.
Yeah.
Well, Garrett, it's been an hour and a half.
Yeah. I think we should save the doozy of the video, too, the Canadian one. I think we should save that one.
Yeah, let's save it. Let's try to play out with that Eisenhower speech.
Oh, cool.
Where was that?
Or just restart the Ron Paul one and do the whole thing.
We could do that.
That one's great.
Yeah. Where is that? Ron, I'll just find it again.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's just. You know what? Let's just play this out, and we'll go ahead and turn our cameras off. And
thanks, Ned.
Yeah. Thanks, Ned. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We appreciate it.
So Monday for sure. If we could sneak a show in this weekend, we're gonna do an SMG one if we can.
Yep. All right. Yeah. Great show. This was fun. Later, everybody. Later.
Thanks to the new followers.
Yep.
Thanks for the old faithfuls. You guys are the best.
All right. Peace.
Speaker, I have a few questions for my colleagues. What if our foreign policy of the past century is deeply flawed and has not served our national security interests? What if we wake up one day and realize that the terrorist threat is a predictable consequence of our meddling in the affairs of others and has nothing to do with us being free and prosperous? What if propping up repressive regimes in the Middle East endangers both the United States and Israel? What if occupying countries like Iraq and Afghanistan and bombing Pakistan is directly related to the hatred directed toward us? What if someday it dawns on us that losing over 5,000 American military personnel in the Middle East since 9/11 is not a fair trade-off for the loss of nearly 3,000 American citizens, no matter how many Iraqi, Pakistani, and Afghan people are killed or displaced? What if we finally decide that torture, even if called enhanced interrogation technique, is self-destructive and produces no useful information, and that contracting it out to a third world nation is just as evil? What if it is finally realized that war and military spending is always destructive to the economy? What if all wartime spending is paid for through the deceitful and evil process of inflating and borrowing? What if we finally see that wartime conditions always undermine personal liberty? What if conservatives who preach small government wake up and realize that our interventionist foreign policy provides the greatest incentive to expand the government? What if conservatives understood once again that their only logical position is to reject military intervention and managing an empire throughout the world? What if the American people woke up and understood that the official reasons for going to war are almost always based on lies and promoted by war propaganda in order to serve special interests? What if we as a nation came to realize that the quest for empire eventually destroys all great nations? What if Obama has no intention of leaving Iraq? What if a military draft is being planned for the wars that will spread if our foreign policy is not changed? What if the American people learn the truth, that our foreign policy has nothing to do with national security, that it never changes from one administration to the next? What if war and preparation for war is a racket serving the special interests? What if President Obama is completely wrong about Afghanistan and turns out worse than Iraq and Vietnam put together? What if Christianity actually teaches peace and not preventive wars of aggression? What if diplomacy is found to be superior to bombs and bribes in protecting America? What happens if my concerns are completely unfounded? Nothing. But what happens if my concerns are justified and ignored? Nothing good. And I yield back the balance of my time.
Yeah, had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. Truth bombs that many never knew. We talking politics, everything up to the moon. Was the landing real or fake? I guess you'll never know. Let's talk, this is the Nate and Garrett Show, yeah. So lend me your ear, let's get it poppin'. You know that we keep it live, non-stoppin'. Educating, entertain, there ain't no doubt. After you listen, you'll be thinking way outside the box. From media dishonesty, never let them play you. Keep it authentic nowadays, many can't do. Unfiltered is how we do it. Make sure you stay locked in and tuned in, let's go. Had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens.